Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's review we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Earthrise Micromasters, Autobot Fuzer and Blastmaster. These two figures are part of the second wave of the Micromasters and were my most anticipated releases out of the second wave of Micromasters, as I'm in absolute love with their vehicle mode. So you can see here that we have the two characters both clearly displayed here on the front of the box. We've got their alternate form depicted here in some amazing artwork, and as we turn around to the back of the packaging we have a clearer look at what these do indeed turn into, and that is an official licensed NASA space shuttle. I'm so looking forward to actually getting this. I only really collect the Micromasters and the Battlemasters for their play value, and this here definitely looks as if though it's going to be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's crack this pack open and see what awaits us inside. And so here we have both Fuzer and Blastmaster fully opened up and out of their packaging, and of course as they come packaged here in their robot modes. Now I'm going to be rather upfront in this review and state that I don't tend to collect all of the Micromasters. I'm very selective when it comes to some of the Micromaster releases, just as in my own opinion I think that the figures are rather cheap, and the engineering, although they are rather small, I don't tend to think is that imaginative, and they're not really figures that really appeal to me. However, I've got to say here that with Fuzer and Blastmaster, I think that these two figures are the exception. These are really nice entries into the Earthrise line, and they have an absolute killer looking alt form. So to begin with, we'll take a look here at the details of Fuzer. You can see that he has been painted really nicely, especially where the head and the torso is concerned, with some nice silver highlights to pick out some of the smaller details on the torso, as well as some of the smaller details there for the head. The arms have been cast in a white plastic with some black stripes on the side, more for his shuttle mode, and we do also have some moulded in blue guns, which I think look quite cool as well. The crutch is completely sculpted in a blue plastic, so no paint applications. However, you can see here some sculpted in detailing, and the legs are just completely cast in a white plastic with once again some black highlights for the alt form. Overall, I think that the detailing on this looks really nice. You can pick out some nice details such as the eyes and the mouth. You can see there some fingers which are obviously grasping around the guns, and here at the base of the figure you can pick out some details such as the toes. In terms of back kibble, he does have quite a lot of back kibble. You can see that the nose cone of the shuttle does just compress onto the back of him. However, I think that it does compress quite nicely considering this figure's scale. You can see that it does have multiple hinges, which once again I was very surprised to see, as considering these figures are so small. We do have massive heel spurs, so you definitely don't have to worry about this figure toppling over. However, that is actually something I would have liked to have seen perhaps implemented into Blastmaster, as he is incredibly difficult to indeed stand up. For articulation, there is no ball joint there at the head whatsoever. However, the arms are on ball joints, so they can rotate 360 as well as hinge out to the sides. We have also got these hinge joints here due to transformation, so that can exaggerate some of the range of motion if you so desire. We do get waist articulation. However, here for robot mode it's almost rendered useless, as this entire back piece here does unfortunately restrict it. The legs are also on a ball joint, so they can kick forwards that far. They can't really kick back too far once again due to the back kibble. They can hinge out to the side to a slight degree, and there is also a hinge joint here at the knee. However, once again that's mainly due to transformation. So considering its scale, I do think that this figure is quite nicely detailed and articulated. Now turning to the more weaker half of the set, here we have Blastmaster. Now I say he's one of the more weaker ones, as considering he does make up the back section, the more heftier section of the shuttle mode, he is carrying a lot of weight on his back, and this figure does not want to stand up whatsoever. This is where I really wish they would have used the huge heel spurs that we do get here for Fuzer on Blastmaster, but as I'm only going to be displaying this figure in vehicle mode, it doesn't bother me really that much. We don't have a ball joint at the head, which is unfortunate, but you can see the sculpted in detailing is quite nice. Paint applications here for the shoulders works quite well, and the arms are indeed on ball joints, so they can hinge forwards that far as well as out to the side. No waist articulation on this figure, however the legs can kick forwards that far as well as back to about that far. They could probably do the splits, however due to this wing section it is rather restricted. And then finally we do get a hinge joint here at the knee, however once again that's mainly due to transformation. So as a set I think that these figures are quite cool. It's just this one here, Blastmaster, does not want to stand up whatsoever unless you hinge the feet to a ridiculous angle, and then now it looks here as if though perhaps he's lost something and he's looking along the ground for it. So definitely I would opt to display this figure in his alt form along with Fuzer. Turning to the transformation of the alternate mode, it is very simple to do, and believe me, this is an absolute killer looking alt mode for these two characters. So you're going to want to flip out the nose section there of the shuttle and then just collapse this over the top. We're then going to want to rotate this whole section around, and with that done we can take the arms, utilizing the ball joint and the hinge, we can shift these into place and then just tab those in. You can see that we'll do the same here for this side, so just tab all that into place. Come to these sections here and you're going to want to clip those together, ensuring that the tab is flush so that both of these here are aligned, and ensure that they're not misaligned. And then here we can just collapse this in, and it's just a matter of folding everything up really nice and securely. Take this section here, flap this over the top, give that all a nice squeeze, and that is one half of our shuttle fully transformed. Coming in now to the larger piece of the shuttle, this is where the transformation gets slightly more interesting. So to begin with, you're going to want to lift this thin piece there at the back, collapse the head all the way in, and then collapse this port inwards as well. We can then utilize these very small tabs there, and these will peg into some slots on the thigh of the figure. So just snap all of this together and align that up, and then come to these sections here and just clip those together. Fold out the wings, not all the way, as we're going to then want to rotate this all around until it slides into that slot. And then with these, if these arms have come undone, just peg those in, and you can see a small tab here for the wing that will peg into this slot. So just snap that nice and securely into place, snap that into place, and here we have the second half of the shuttle, and of course you're going to want to combine them. So just align them up, snap those together, and here we have both Autobot Fuzer and Blastmaster fully transformed up into their amazing looking NASA shuttle. Now, I'm not sure about yourselves, but this was definitely the reasoning behind why I picked up this set. I think that this looks absolutely terrific, especially here for its scale. You can see that this is indeed a fully licensed NASA shuttle, so that's a really nice attention to detail. And it's great to get the actual NASA logo on a NASA shuttle, as usually when Hasbro can't ever get the trademark or the license for something, they just tend to leave the shuttle looking generic, and it doesn't add any character to it. So to get the NASA logo, I think is fantastic. Here at the back, you can see we've got some thrusters. We indeed do have 3 thrusters. These ones here can accommodate some blast effects. I haven't found anything that can insert into this small one, but you can see some nice black paint apps here for the back wing, and then here really lovely crisp paint applications here for the outer wings with a very reflective metallic black that they've used here, a very glossy black, and then you've got some lighter grey sections just to break up the sculpt. And the overall detailing of the shuttle as well is really nice. You can see some of the nice sculpted panel detailing, and the whole front nose cone of the shuttle too, with the blue windows and the black cone there at the top, I think all look really nice. They've even gone the extra mile to actually mould in some sculpted in wheels, some sculpted in landing gear, so that is also quite cool to see. And then just turning onto the underside so you can see what's going on there. Just overall a really awesome looking shuttle. Now in this mode you can indeed deploy this peg here, and you could peg this into some of your other 5mm ports. I'm not entirely sure what you would plug this into, and here just for a size comparison, here I have him next to one of the many modes that you can get the modulator Ironworks transformed into. This is the one that they do showcase on the packaging. So here we've got the shuttle with Ironworks, and of course you saw earlier on that we do have these ports, which of course means that you can take the port here and just peg it into the tab here on Ironworks. It does take quite a considerable amount of force to actually get this in there, but once that's all tabbed in, you could then have the Fuzer and Blastmaster ready to eject and deport from their landing bay. Of course, this doesn't look that authentic to what a real-life NASA takeoff would look like, as I'm sure you can probably configure this in your own way, but that is just something to demonstrate that you can indeed port this into other modulators and have a look that looks very authentic to real life. So definitely a very fun looking figure, especially here in the shuttle mode. As stated, I had no interest in the robot modes whatsoever. It was just mainly here for the shuttle mode. So if you are into these Micromasters, then this is by far one of the standouts, I think, out of the entire line. At least one of the standouts here for Wave 2. And believe me, I will review the second set of Micromasters very shortly over on the channel, so be sure to subscribe to watch their reviews. But definitely a very fun figure, and I highly recommend him, at least just for a novelty experience as well. It's very fun to just get a transformable NASA shuttle, very similar to that of Skylynx in terms of its overall shuttle design, and it's awesome to see the NASA logoing on a Transformers product. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this rather quick review. If you did, please do let me know down in the comment section below, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.